Developing at 10, the U.S. and Iran reaching a deal to end the war. We're watching the latest from Washington. 1 year since the lawmaker shootings that shook Minnesota, Melissa Hortman's neighbors remembering the late representative. And in the last year, has the political rhetoric changed in our state? What lawmakers on both sides are saying tonight.
And after an incredibly refreshing weekend with temperatures in the low 70s, we start to warm things up on Monday, and that's going to lead the way for a rain chance Monday night into Tuesday. We're timing it all out in your forecast coming up.
Those stories in a second, including today's big developments from the Middle East. But we are going to begin with a large police presence in Golden Valley. This was the scene at Ottawa Avenue near Shaper Park just within the last hour. You can see more than a dozen squads at the scene. We have reached out to Golden Valley Police for more information. We'll bring it to you as soon as we get it. Developing tonight, though, a peace deal in the Middle East. Thanks for joining us on air and streaming. I'm Morgan Wolf. President Trump says that the U.S. and Iran have reached an agreement to end the war and open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump and the Pakistani prime minister, who has served as a negotiator in the talks, say that Iran and the U.S. each agreed to draw down military operations immediately. The White House has said that one of its biggest sticking points was Iran agreeing to not create nuclear weapons, but it is not clear yet what exactly is in that deal tonight. The president says the Strait of Hormuz will reopen Friday. A signing ceremony is also scheduled for Friday in Switzerland, but it is not clear yet if the president will be there. Today is marking 1 year since an act of political violence rocked our state. A gunman targeting multiple Democratic lawmakers in their homes, killing Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark and dog, and then severely wounding Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. The somber milestone comes just days after the shooter admitted to the crime in federal court. But today, the community and loved ones are focusing on the victims and the survivors. Heidi Wigdahl checked in today with the Hortman's neighbors, reflecting on that day in the past year. Heidi?
Morgan, tonight people are lighting candles at their doorsteps, remembering the Hortmans and also honoring the Hoffman family. It's also being done in remembrance to all innocent lives taken by political violence.
For neighbors of the Hortmans, there is no forgetting June 14th, 2025.
The scary thing is the bird camera captured the SWAT team and the police going through the neighborhood and in our backyards, which, just made it seem even that much more real. So it was just heartbreaking.
Renee Opat has lived in the Edinburgh neighborhood for 3 decades and a block and a half away from the Hortmans.
It's something that you can't fathom ever happening, and then it happened.
It's been 1 year since Melissa, Mark, and their dog Gilbert were killed.
And it's amazing to walk through the neighborhood and you see a number of signs that people have put up and have kept up in their yards, for the whole year.
And we're doing our part to let the world know that we have not forgotten.
Cindy Hill is behind the signs that line the neighborhood streets, remembering the light Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman brought to public service.
I wasn't expecting it to really take off like it did. This was something that I wanted to do for her, my friend, my neighbor, and this was a tragedy that didn't just touch us, but touched the whole community and the country.
It's still surreal. It's, very sad, surreal. I can't believe it's already been a year.
Laurel and Kevin Kicker say their neighborhood was already close. The last year has brought them even closer together.
Everybody seems more friendly and wave and just kind of almost taking care of each other.
We still are Brooklyn strong.
Cindy says if anyone would like a sign, they're free to take one after Monday night. The city of Brooklyn Park is hosting an evening of remembrance on Wednesday night where residents can come together to reflect on the impact this has had on their community. Morgan.
Yeah, certainly a tough one. Thanks, Heidi. State Senator John Hoffman marked the somber milestone on social media, saying in part, quote, 1 year ago, I was fighting for my life in an ICU bed, unconscious and surrounded by a team determined to save me. At one point, Yvette was escorted from her ICU room by a state trooper to see me. A year later, we're still here, still healing, still grateful.
Other state leaders reflecting today. Governor Tim Walz sharing, "We miss you and think of you often. Session is wrapped. Spring is in bloom. I'm retiring soon. You, too, would have thrived in retirement, and I trust you are living it now. We have our arms wrapped around your kids. They're remarkable. We love them." House Speaker Lisa Dameth posting in part, remembering the public service of Melissa Hortman today, when we learned the House was tied and we would be working together in a historic budget session, she told me, quote, 2 women can get this done. And we did. Melissa showed me a lot about leading with respect and treating others with dignity, especially when you disagree.
Last year's shooting brought lawmakers together from both sides of the aisle to mourn the Hortmans and also call for the political rhetoric to be toned down. So, where do things stand right now? Marina Sargentopoulos sat down with 2 state lawmakers, a Republican and a Democrat, for their thoughts.
The June 14th lawmakers' shootings will be something every Minnesotan will remember.
It's kind of hard to think that it's truly been a year when some aspects of it seem like it was just yesterday.
But for obvious reasons,
it's been a hard year.
The political assassinations and attempts have changed the lives of those who served beside them.
I'm pretty close with John Hoffman. It's been hard to sort of watch him, but also inspiring to watch how resilient he's been, coming in every day to do his work, to resume the public service that he has the passion for.
And with that trauma in our past, I think many hoped the political tone would change too. Last session was the first without Melissa Hortman.
Let's put our heads down and get to work.
Was it different?
You know, I think there were moments where that definitely was. I think a few things occurred before we started session to really kind of show a little bit of unity, some humanity.
A moment of silence.
But then, of course, we had some other times where things would get heated, and I'm sure people sometimes would say things that they would now regret or maybe wish they hadn't said. So we're still trying to find that balance and strike that level of civility that's important for the people of Minnesota.
You can be firm and assertive without being toxic or vitriolic. And it's bordered into toxicity and vitriol more than it should have. But, you know, look, we all have a tendency, if we believe strongly about things, to lob a few rhetorical bombs across the aisle every now and then, some of us more than others.
That said, both senators agree the day-to-day bipartisan work isn't always what grabs the headlines. There were significant bills that made it through a tied House and a 1-vote DFL margin in the Senate. Funding to keep HCMC open, the Office of Inspector General to help fight fraud, and even a 1-year rollback on car tab fees. And both senators agree lawmakers do hold responsibility to help tone down the rhetoric.
I think we just have to do a better job of policing ourselves. It is tempting sometimes, whether it's trying to get attention on social media or to grab a headline, or just because you want that personal satisfaction of trying to get one over on somebody. You have to ask yourself, does it serve the higher purpose?
You know, we're opinion leaders, right? I mean, we're out in front when our words get replayed in the media, or when we respond, you know, to a social media post with similar toxic language, it just feeds that engine.
Is it going to contribute to the overall good that we need in the environment that is going to be helpful to the state legislature to actually help us govern and do things that we need to across the aisle and for the folks here in Minnesota? And that can be a challenge. We're only human, but we have to remind ourselves that that's what's more important.
So, yeah, I think we all have a responsibility to reduce the toxicity of the rhetoric. And we'll all be better off, not just in our relations within the legislature or with our constituents, but as a community.
Well, we invite you all to take a look back at the tragedy and how the Hortmans' legacies are living on. KARE 11 has a special streaming right now on demand on our free app for your TV. Looking to weather now, we are at the end of another beautiful day, but tonight things are going to be cooling down, right, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a crisp night here. I know a lot of folks wanted that hot weekend. You want to hit the water. You got to still enjoy these ones. It is free AC here tonight. We're getting down into the 50s quickly. How about St. Cloud? 59 degrees. Temperatures already breaking 60. We're at 66 here in the metro. Wilmer 59, Bemidji 58. It was a windy day. That was the other a little blemish today. Not terrible, 30-mile-an-hour winds. I'd say it's a strong, breezy day. But here's the winds now. They're starting to lighten up as high pressure starts to settle in. The next 12 hours, we're dipping down into the low 50s. Now, that's in the metro. So that means you get outside the metro, 40s. Literally anywhere outside of the metro, 48 to 49 degrees. It's going to be a cool, crisp start. We are going to be tracking some rain chances returning Monday night in your forecast. Coming up.
Tomorrow, 2 men are set to stand trial for a shooting inside a Minneapolis bar last fall. Dontrell Clark and Alonzo Williams are both facing a slew of charges, including second-degree murder. The shooting at Barzia left 1 person dead and injured 3 more. Charging documents say that the 2 are part of a street gang and targeted the victim who died. Jury selection begins at 9.